Good morning and welcome to our final episode of this trial version of Little Ways Kitchen. I hope you have enjoyed it. Happy New Year to all of you. And I will be reaching out to you, just a little warning, to sort of get your feedback on how these past several weeks have worked for you, and what ideas you might have to make this concept more useful and more helpful to all of you. So first of all, thank you for journeying with me on this. This week, these weeks, we actually have a bunch of recipes. With the new year, I find that people are usually interested in getting a little healthier, and then also in saving money, since Christmas is sometimes a little bit painful in that direction. And those two things don't always work really well together. So I have sort of three very much dinner concepts, at least they are to me, and then three things that are sort of flexible. And then only one recipe for breakfast this week. I wanted to sort of focus on the substantial meals and not as much on breakfast. So this week we have, if you want to grill, Indecision grilled chicken. However, this can also be made inside, no problem. If the weather's decent, like it has been some of this week, the grill is an option, especially if you have an outdoor space. But if not, you can do this perfectly well indoors. It's a very basic marinade for chicken, for whatever kind of chicken you use. And it's very flexible. So there's a lot you can do with that. And I would do that with egg noodles or quinoa if you want to be a little healthier. You can even experiment with farro. And then green beans. Or you could also try broccoli. If you roast a ton of broccoli, you can use that for one of your bowls later. I also have a sheet pan chicken fajitas if you want to just use a sheet pan and kind of have everything on that one pan, and that's pretty much your dinner. I would recommend with rice. Serving that with rice, so you can't do everything in the sheet pan. Brief plug, I really think a rice cooker is a good investment. I could talk to you about that some other time, but I think it's worth it just to not have to think about one of the things that you're making every night. I also have a Dutch oven, so if you want to just put something in your Dutch oven and be done with it for the rest of the day. This, I'm sure, is very easily adaptable to a slow cooker or a pressure cooker, like an Instant Pot. I have not experimented with that yet, so I don't give you the directions for that, but it cannot possibly be hard to adjust it. So reach out to me if you want to try to figure that out. And that's a beef brisket. It cooks for a while, so you have to sort of start it at the beginning of the day, or midday, essentially. But it's very, very simple and very tasty. It was received very well in my family by everyone, which is a special moment. Then in terms of sort of lunch or more flexible concepts, I have three things that are either sort of bowl-like concepts. One is they're sort of spicy shrimp stacks. They're not that spicy. What they get the spice from is the sauce, which you could avoid if you wanted. This is like a sushi taste, but nothing raw, okay? So if you don't like any of those flavors, then skip it. But basically you're layering cooked shrimp and mashed avocado and cucumber and rice in a measuring cup. And then you flip it over. It's extremely cute. I am often lame and just want to eat a lot of food and don't want to bother. And so I turn it into a bowl. But the concept is very neat and sort of Pinterest worthy. I have a little note about that in my directions to you. We also have chicken quinoa bowls, which is a recipe I kind of developed myself, frankly, because I like chicken and I like quinoa, and I wanted to make it sort of salady, but also substantial. So it's chicken and quinoa. You could use any kind of chicken. You could use leftover chicken from the Indecision chicken. I wouldn't recommend the fajita chicken because it's a little too spicy, but you could if you wanted. You could use rotisserie chicken. You could use even like the grilled chicken strips that you can buy at the supermarket, like pre-prepared. They're fine. And you add that to quinoa and some greens of your choice. And then I recommend some dried fruit and nuts. You can use the candied nuts that you get from me, or you could just use any nuts. And I like it with poppy seed dressing. I really like this brand, Brianna's, but I also have a recipe for making it yourself if you like. Poppy seeds are a little annoying to come by. They do sell them at the store, but if you don't feel like getting them yourself, you can do that. If you want something sort of healthier and lighter than poppy seed dressing, you could try a balsamic glaze. A glaze is, if you're not familiar with it, it's a thickened balsamic. And so it works, but you don't use as much of it, but it works as sort of a sweetener. I mean, it's an interesting flavor. It's very concentrated. Again, you can find that at most supermarkets these days. And then finally, we have sweet potato broccoli bowls. You could add a protein to that. Those are taken from Smitten Kitchen. With many bowls and other salad-y type things, I really think that the salad dressing makes it. And I'm not going to go into my position on salad dressing, but I know